Hi, my name is Francisco Gonzalez, and I will be doing my informative speech on the World Cup. The World Cup is a soccer tournament that is hosted every 4 years and is the most watched sporting event in the world. According to roadtrips.com, 3.2 billion people tuned in to watch the 2014 World Cup, which was hosted in Brazil, the final was between Germany and Argentina, and that's about half the world's population that tuned in to watch that. First, I want to talk about the origins and how the World Cup started. It started in 1930, which was the first tournament, which was hosted in Uruguay, and the winners were Uruguay. It started off with only being 13 teams. The FIFA president at the time, Jules Rimet, he wanted to stage an international football tournament, which is how it came to become the FIFA World Cup. To host it, a nation is selected every year. Every 4 years is a nation selected, and it is done on voting. So you vote and decide who hosts the tournament. Next, I want to talk about how the game of soccer is played and how it's won. It is the whole game is technically 90 minutes, but there's stoppage time, which that's due to if there are injuries or just basically if there's injuries or substitutions, you make up for it at the end of the first 45. You can add as much stoppage time as you need, and then at the end of the 90 minutes, there's more stoppage time, so it can go up to 92 or 93 minutes. There are two halves, and they're both 45 minutes. The purpose is to score more goals than your opponent. That's how you win, but you can advance in the World Cup by doing if there are other circumstances, which I'll talk about later. You get 3 substitutions per game, so that's if a player is injured, if he's just tired, you want to do one later in the game, or you want to do one just to kill some time. You get 3 per game. You don't have to use all 3, but that's just up to the coach. You're allowed 7 players total on your side of the bench. You can only use 3 of them because you only have 3 substitutions, but you're allowed 7 players regardless of what positions. You can draw whoever you want from the pool. So if you say you're the coach for Spain, you can put 7 players on the bench from any Spanish player around the world. If you end up tying the game, which can only happen in the knockout stage and up, there's stoppage time, or there's extra time, which is it's 30 minutes total, but they give you 15 minutes and then a break, and then 15 minutes and a break again, and that's just to decide a winner. And if there's still not a winner after those extra 30 minutes, then you will be going off to penalty kicks. Finally, I want to talk about how you win the Club World Cup. You start off with the group stage, and that is chosen at random from the 32 teams that qualify, because there's 32 teams now that are allowed to play in the World Cup, and they are drafted from around all the nations and the countries around the world. And there is eliminations prior to that's how you get into the World Cup. And in the group stage, there's 4 teams in each group, 8 groups total. The 2 best teams of each group will advance. There's a first seed which get the most points, and there's a second seed. So in the group, you play 3 other teams. You play the 3 other teams, and whoever gets the most points wins. It's based on a point system, and if you win, you get 3 points. If you tie, it's 1 point. And if you're tied with another team, like 3 and 3 points to see who's second place, then you go off goal differential, which is your goals scored minus goals conceded. And then after that, you join the knockout stage, which is the elimination towards the final. First up is the round of 16, which is the 16 teams that advance. The first seed of one group will play the second seed of another group, and so on forth. After you win that game, you are off to the quarterfinals, which is the last 8 teams. Then after that is the semifinal, which is the last 4. And then if you win that, you go to the final, or if you lose your semifinal, there's a thing called third place. That is basically it. Thanks.